What's up YouTube? I'm back with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about deep dives from Season of the Deep again. My original video was uploaded on June 1st, and I rushed to put that video out after finding out about the pressure trials in hopes of more people finding out about it as well. And I knew since I didn't know about the pressure trials, there would be a lot of people who also didn't know about it. And that was my goal at the time, but I didn't take into consideration that Bungie may add on to it like they would. Looking back at it, the video doesn't hold up well, and hopefully you can find this guide to be a little more useful. This one, if you're seeing this, I am going to link it back at the end of the original video, but I'll also have in the description, as well as I'm going to pin the top comment of me saying that there's an updated version. But if you're seeing this without having to see the first video, just solely watch this one. But this one is going to have updated information and what has changed since the first video was made. Well, back when the original one was uploaded, there was only 2 encounters and then a boss fight giving you the max reward of a tier 5 chest. But now there's 3 encounters and a boss fight resulting in 2 tier 7 chests at the end if you complete everything. And I know I'm a little late to this, so I do apologize for that. But right off the bat, let's just start off with what a pressure trial is. A pressure trial is a secret in the deep dive activity, which when activated increases your activity, difficulty, and rewards for completing the activity. Now, if you complete all 3 pressure trials in a deep dive, you will have tier 7 chest with rewards waiting for you at the end. Now, before we start, let's talk about the deep dive rules and modifiers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head in game right now and kind of walk you through everything that's there. So you can see we're going into the deep dives menu, and you can see right here, this is the deep dives little hub or whatever. You can see right off the bat we have match made and private lobbies. That way if you have a team, you can obviously go into private and just play with your full fire team, or you go into match made and then you'll have to play with 2 randoms. Now when it comes to deep dive rules, just know for power level it's at a fixed level. You cannot increase it. The enemies levels will increase as the activity goes on, so just know that at the first activity or the first encounter it's very easy. Then the second one, it's probably where it gets to that medium difficulty. And then the third encounter is just the hardest one in my opinion. So that's how the power level changes throughout the encounter. Now Asa's gifts, you get to choose from 1 of 2 random gifts from Asa at each depth to enhance yourself for the remainder of the activity before taking on the darkness. And these range anywhere from enhanced grenade damage to enhanced kinetic weapon damage. So they're not anything too crazy, however they can be very useful depending on your build, depending on what you're rocking, so just keep all of that in mind. Now for Wrathful Predator, final blows on these unique combatants will reward your fire team additional time on the objective timer. Now this is very important because when you kill a Wrathful Predator, you will get plus 15 seconds to your overall time. And for those of you that don't know, this activity is on a timer. You'll have like 5 minutes to complete an activity, and let's say if you're running low or you missed something and it's taking a long time for you to complete it, you have that chance to get plus 15 seconds every time you kill a Wrathful Predator. So whenever you see one of them, instantly kill them and deal with them. That way you're not, running out of time or anything like that. Now when it comes to rewards, to be honest, it's not that important. In my opinion, I'm only doing this for triumphs and stuff like that. The rewards aren't even that good in my opinion. It's really just, I don't know, they make this activity so difficult, and the rewards, in my opinion, don't match the difficulty for it. But the annoying thing is to opt in with your entire fire team to trigger the pressure trials versions of activities for even greater rewards. You need all 3 players to interact with the orb, and it's just super annoying. But we'll get into that a little bit more when you see the overall just scope of everything and when I'm breaking it down. But join in progress is disabled as well, so that's pretty obvious what that entails. But when dealing with these 3 modifiers, just I think they can be randomized. Either they change weekly, daily, I don't know what the deal is with these, but these are never going to be benefits to you. They're going to be benefits for the enemy. So you can see Scorched Earth, and this activates at the Abyss depth, so think about this as the first encounter. And this is grenades are thrown significantly more often by combatants. And then the second one, Blast, combatants splash damage is increased, and this activates at the midnight depth. So think about this one activating at the second encounter. Then we have Martyr, which is exploder units have more health, and this activates at the Abyss depth, so think about this one activating at the 3rd encounter. So that's going to do it for this little breakdown here for the menu and everything. Again, the key thing to note is if you're trying to do a pressure trial, you need all 3 players to activate with the taken orb in order to opt in. So let's get back into the guide talking about how to start this. Now once you start the activity, make your way through the mission until you reach your first encounter. First encounter will be located at 1000 meters in the Methane Sea, where you have to plant your first Egregore Resonator. Once that is planted, look for this. This taken orb is what will begin the pressure trial. It will spawn somewhere in the room. The key thing is once you find that orb, you have all 3 players interact with it to start your first pressure trial. I recommend finding it fast, but you do have a decent amount of time before it despawns. But once all 3 players interact with the orb on your screen, you will see text that says, "Darkness awaits your invocation." This is the start of your first pressure trial and will start a mini game. Now, just to elaborate a little bit more on the mini games, there are 3 different ones that you can get. They're all random, so depending on which one you get first, you can expect to see the other 2 later on throughout the pressure trials. But they are all Taken themed, so you can keep an eye out for them. One is Taken pressurized rifts, and you're going to see on screen right now what those look like. And for these, you have to stand inside of them and capture them, and there'll be like a total of like 6 or 8 that spawn in that you have to stand over and capture. Another one is shooting Taken blights that you have to stand inside of, similar to public events throughout the game. And then lastly, there are 3 floating Taken blights that you will have to shoot that don't require you to stand inside of them, but you'll notice them. They're hard to miss, but you'll see some gameplay of those as I talk about them as well. But once you do your mini game slash just random encounter, whatever you want to call it, there will be some dialogue in game that will confirm that you've done it. Now once you hear that dialogue and you complete your main objective, you will move on to your next area. And I do want to note that when Pressure Trials is active, be on the lookout for your Wrathful Predators, and these are the Taken mini bosses that will spawn in, and killing them adds 15 seconds to the encounter timer. So now with us talking about that first encounter, I'm going to let it all play out just so you can see kind of how the gameplay loop is, what you may or may not encounter. So I'm going to let this play out, and I'll pick up with you guys when we make it to our second encounter. So once you reach 2,750 meters in the Methane Sea, deploy your Egregore Resonator again and look for your glowing Taken Orb. This is going to be your second encounter in your pressure trial. Now make sure you do it as fast as possible and have all 3 players interact with it. Once you see the text on your screen saying the darkness awaits your invocation, complete the additional objective / minigame and your main objective before time expires. Now, like I did earlier, I'm gonna let the game play out, and then I'll pick up with you guys when we get to the 3rd encounter. The third encounter is at 4,450 meters in the Methane Sea. Deploy your Egregore Resonator again and look for your glowing Taken Orb. Do whatever minigame you get and then complete your main objective once again. In all my runs, this has been the encounter that by far is the hardest to complete. So make sure you're prioritizing your Wrathful Predator kills, that way you can extend your timer. Make sure you're taking advantage of your heavy ammo. Make sure you're popping your super, generating a lot of orbs, that way your team can get orbs and you guys can keep generating orbs to keep spamming supers. But this one definitely is going to be a little rough and a little chaotic, so if it's your first time, just be prepared for that. But I will pick up with you guys once we complete this.
Uplifted in divinity, atop a violent will.
sites in this sector are in the deeper shelves. Descend and keep your weapons close.
Egregore samples accounted for. Guardian, we're clear.
Once the third encounter is complete, make your way to the boss room. There is no pressure trial here, it's just a regular boss room. What boss you get is completely random, but the 3 bosses are going to be between a Wrathborn Servitor, a Hive Wizard, or a Taken Knight. Just keep that in mind, but once you complete this boss room is when you should get your tier 7 reward chest, assuming you've done everything the right way and you've gotten all 3 encounters with the pressure trials active. So I'm gonna let this gameplay play out, and then I'll pick up with you guys to do an overall just recap of everything.
I read the report on Rasputin. Makes me wonder if there will be a place for people like us when this is all over.
People like us.
Fighters. Warriors. If I'm aiming to keep on living the day after the witness bites a bullet.
So here's a clear breakdown of the activity one last time just to make sure everything is here. So start the activity like normal and work your way to the first encounter when you reach 1,000 meters in the Methane Sea. Here's the first time you'll be prompted to plant the Egregore Resonator. Once you deploy the Resonator, run around and look for the Taken Orb. Again, it's a white glowing orb, and try to find it fast and invoke darkness as fast as possible because you will have to complete 2 objectives all under the time limit. Once all 3 players interact with the orb on your screen, you will see text that says that darkness awaits your invocation. Once you see that text, that means the additional objective / minigame is active. Complete both before time expires and you will move on until you reach 2,750 meters in the Methane Sea. Now once you reach 2,750 meters in the Methane Sea, deploy your Egregore Resonator again and look for your glowing Taken Orb. Make sure you do it as fast as possible and have all 3 players interact with it. Once you see the text on your screen again saying the darkness awaits your invocation, complete the additional objective / minigame and your main objective before time expires. At 4,450 meters in the Methane Sea, you will have your last encounter before the boss fight. Deploy your Egregore Resonator again and look for your glowing Taken Orb. Do whatever minigame you get and then complete your main objective. Now make your way to the boss room and defeat whatever boss you get and you will receive your 7 chests. Now this sounds super easy, but in reality the difficulty gets ramped up every time you complete an encounter. And to be honest, I really don't know what's the best way to do this right now, because I would say, hey, just use LFG, but as I mentioned earlier, LFG, it works like 2 out of the 10 times, to be honest, when it comes to getting a functional team for this. Like I said, I'll get people joining my LFG, one knows what to do and one doesn't know what to do. But in the times that I've done it, I have finished it with LFG, so I'm just going to have to recommend LFG. Whether it's Discord, Bungie, or whatever, that's completely up to you. But I used Bungie.net when I did it, and I just went and did the LFG there. But again, just know it's not a guarantee way to do it, just because you may run into people who don't know what to do that will join your LFG post. Now, that's going to do it for the video, so hopefully you found this one useful. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss another video. Drop a follow on my Twitch, twitch.tv/monkeysam0, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.